Can you hear me? Sorry, I like to record my sessions. So, good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to meet everybody, but before we start, how many people here know me on TV? That thing has sold me out a lot. Sometimes people just come to me and say, "Hey, how are you?" I'm like, "Hi, how are you?" And I don't know who they are. Like, church has really grown. There are a lot of new people in church now. And I guess because people see me on screen every Wednesday, they know me and they know my name. So I can't even hide. I used to be very invisible before. For the first like 10 years of church, I was very invisible, but everybody knew my name. Because every time something goes wrong, Pastor shouts, "Lolade!" So one day someone was introducing me to one of their friends. I was like, this is Lolade. I was like, "Oh, you're the Lolade pastor always shouting around." All right, so does everybody here attend Holy Hill Church? Who doesn't? You don't. Okay, just one person. All right. Do you attend Holy Hill Church? Okay. All right. So, so I'll try. I make some inside jokes of only for that are Holy Hill Church jokes. So for the ones you don't catch, I'll try and explain them. All right. All right. Let's start. Uh, everybody here is a Christian, I believe, right? All right. The reason why I said that is because we are going to have an interesting conversation. I like to have conversations. I don't really like to teach like that. I like for us to have mutually beneficial conversations. And one of the things we're going to do today is to have a very mutually beneficial conversation. So the reason why I said that is even though I'm the one standing here, doesn't mean I know everything. I probably might have gone maybe one or two steps ahead of you in terms of business, but doesn't mean that the point I'm in business now does not mean I know all. There are still things I can learn from you guys. So I think this is a two-way learning process. Do we agree with that? So you guys will teach me as well. All right. All right. So today will mostly be an introductory class. We have more sessions. And today, I would like to just set the tone for everything we're going to discuss over the next few weeks. The first thing is to set a topic for ourselves. Like, what are we trying to achieve? And what I'm going to be teaching you guys is what I've tagged faith-based entrepreneurship. Hmm? Faith. Faith-based entrepreneurship. Can I use this board? I can clean this, right? All right. Do I have a marker? So I'm going to be taking you guys on faith-based entrepreneurship. And I believe that God would have me show you some of the things I've learned over the years in entrepreneurship. I started doing business when I was 9, right? Now, yeah. My name, okay. So my name is Ololade Otayemi. I'll do an introduction of myself. My name is Ololade Otayemi. I currently work as the CEO of the Obra Company. The Obra Company is an organization that is on a mission to revive Africa, in quotes. I'm an international business expert, so I essentially help businesses grow as a person, personally. Now, this is not what my company does. I consult for a lot of organizations. I just finished a consultancy for the UK government. I'm also on a project in the United States. It's called the New Black Wall Street Market. You can Google it. It's a 300-acre business village we're building to help build more black millionaires in the US. That project by itself is about the cost of the next phase of the project probably costing about $1.5 billion. And I am one of the strategic people in that project. Apart from that, many years ago, I became very popular in the tech space for making an attempt to push Apple and Samsung out of the market. So I had a smartphone brand called Obra Mobile Devices, ORBRA. So you can Google all of that. If you put my name in Google after this class, you'll find out about me. So I'm not going to spend time. So you can just read up about me online. There are a lot of articles you can read about me online. But the reason why I think I'm in this position to share some things with you is that in the past 7 years, particularly, like I said, I started business when I was 9, but I would say I probably became an entrepreneur about 7, 8 years ago. Now, you'd ask me what's the difference between starting a business and being an entrepreneur? Who can tell me what the difference is? You know, there are some people who call businessman and businesswoman, and there are some people who call entrepreneurs. Who can make an attempt? Someone should make an attempt. Okay, yeah, very good answer. Yeah.
Okay, one question is a business person is more or less just selling things
Mm-hmm.
without it's only just to sell and make daily profit
Mm.
or whatever profit he needs to make to keep
Yeah.
himself
Mm.
going.
Yeah.
Why an entrepreneur is someone that wants to build a brand, a conglomerate, and bring in leadership and training.
All right. Thank you. So what you just said, correct, both of you, please. So when you're saying, can you tell me your name?
My name is Timothy.
Okay.
Um, I would say a businessman is one that is just most of the time just doing it for the profit and just to survive
Mm-hmm.
at the moment.
Yeah.
While an entrepreneur is someone that is doing someone that is doing something like for the purpose of actually all the right what I coming to like to what someone that is
Drink
doing
Coke. Drink
something
Coke.
someone that is doing something mainly to yeah to
Drink Coke. Oh, give him Coke. He needs Coke. The thing wants to come out, but the thing needs Coke to push it out. Please
someone
go
that has
ahead.
a purpose that is actually driven by something. He's actually
So
driven
the
by
reason why he's in
one
business is
thing.
because there's a purpose driving him. Okay.
He has
So you
he
have to
has
give
he
me
has
your
a
Coke now since I've
particular
helped you.
thing that he's working towards
Uh-huh.
and he's doing everything to achieve
All
that
right.
to impact his environment.
Thank you. Impact. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Unique gifts. Oh, fantastic name. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Oh, perfect. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you are all correct. The reason why that is important to set that tone is so that we understand that there's a difference between when you call people businessman and an entrepreneur. So what I want to do today is to teach you how to be faith-based entrepreneurs. I hope you guys understand. Don't worry about the fact he wants to learn too. You think you are the only one that wants to learn? Okay. Okay, that's fine. So, and like I said, I think I probably became an entrepreneur about 7 years ago. And that was funny enough. It wasn't until I became an entrepreneur that I made my first millions of naira, right? And then I was still very young. There were a lot of things I didn't know. I was running a smartphone business. We were making a lot of money. On a bad month, sometimes we make 2 million in profit. You know, for a young guy, that was a lot of money, right? But then I could not grow that business because I was a businessman, not an entrepreneur, right? For a business person, the goal is really to make money, like you guys have said. It's not really to build anything substantial, mostly about just the profit. And most business people hustle a lot. Hmm? And most times, because they hustle a lot to make the business work, the business is not able to scale. And I'll explain all of what I mean by this to you guys in a bit. So, do we all agree that entrepreneurship is scriptural? You've not thought about that? Who thinks entrepreneurship is scriptural? Who agrees? Talent. Thank you very much. We'll read that story in a bit. Who else agrees? Do you agree? You are thinking about it. Ruth, you agree? Why do you agree? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, entrepreneurship is scriptural, and I'll give you a number of reasons. Right. The first is, let's read. Can someone read Matthew 15:14 to 30 for us very quickly? Matthew 15:14 to 30. Someone should read. Once you find it, just start reading. Matthew 15:14 to 30. Matthew 15, right? No, sorry. Matthew 25. Matthew 25. I'm sorry about that. Matthew 25:14 to 30. Mm-hmm. 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 Mm. 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 30. You've gone fast. Yes. That's 30. All right. So thank you very much, Ruth. So, very quickly, we see this is Jesus talking, so it's not me. So you can't put it on me. It's Jesus himself who that told this story. And he literally described everything that happened as he started with the kingdom of God is like, and he started telling this story. And he told a story about entrepreneurship. Do you guys see that? Now, we would see that the man there himself who was traveling, the master, gave them money when he was traveling. So, in a sense, the man himself is like an investor, right? And he gave some kind of investment to his servants. Now, we can call that man an entrepreneur himself. But how many of us here work somewhere? Or how many of us are working and not running our own businesses? Anybody? You're working. You are not running your business. You're working as well. You're not running your business. You're doing both. Okay. Every other person, you're solely running your own business. All right, perfect. So there are certain groups of people that are called entrepreneurs. These are people who are in an organization and they work within that organization as though they own the organization as entrepreneurs inside an organization. So in this case, we'll see both sides. We'll see the man himself who is the entrepreneur, who is traveling and he gives resources to some people. And we see the other people who they gave resources to, who don't necessarily own the resources, but they work towards multiplying it. Do you understand? If you go back and you read Genesis, you see a part of the scripture where God says, "Be fruitful, replenish the earth, multiply, have dominion, and subdue it." Right? You know that scripture, right? The only way you can do that successfully is through entrepreneurship. And I'll explain it as we go. Now, if we also go to the Bible, we won't read anymore, right? But if we go to the Bible, do we agree that God wants us to be wealthy? We agree. Who here does not want to be wealthy? Who here does not want to be rich? By the way, who knows, is there a reason, is there a difference between being rich and being wealthy?
Yeah, I think it's synonyms, but in reality, it's different.
What's the difference, please?
How a rich person rents a yacht
Mm-hmm.
for a party, and
Mm-hmm.
the person is the owner of the
Of
yacht.
the yacht. Okay. That's a very good. That is very interesting way to put it. Yeah. All right. Who else wants to give that a shot? Huh? All right. Okay. I didn't come here to preach, but I think let's open one more Bible verse, and after that, I promise you we won't open any more today. Let's open Revelations 5:12. Someone should read it for us once we find it.
Saying with a loud voice, whoever is a loud voice, like, receive power and riches and wisdom.
Wait, let's list it. Number one is what?
Receive
Power. Number
and
two,
riches,
riches.
wisdom,
3, wisdom,
strength,
strength.
and honor.
Is that how to spell strength?
Yes.
Honor. Sorry, I'm writing American English. Honor. 6,
Glory
glory.
and blessing.
7, blessing. Right?
Yes.
So, all these 7 things are the 7 things that Jesus died for. Do we know? I didn't say it now, it's inside the Bible. Why are people looking at me like that? It's not me that said, did I write the Bible? They said he was slain to receive what? Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Number 6. Number 4. Not blessing, so. Blessing. Singular. Not blessings. We won't talk about that today. We'll talk about number 2 and number 3. So when Jesus died, part of the things he died for is riches and wisdom. Do you know that there is no wealth there? All right, so I'll explain it. So, have we ever heard this phrase, the wealth of the Gentiles? Not the riches of the Gentiles. You've heard the word, you've not heard the word of the Gentiles. Oh, okay. There's an expression like that. You've not heard it before. You have. Wait. I think there's even a book. Wait, let me see if I can find it. There's an entire book on it. Because I know I read a book like that many years ago. But yeah. So Isaiah 60. Isaiah 60 verse 1, I think. Actually, I said we will not read any more scripture. Sorry. When you're teaching faith-based entrepreneurship, you just find yourself reading scripture. Isaiah 60. Let's see if someone can help us find it. Eh?
Isaiah 60.
Mm. 60. I'm trying to find it as well. I think it's in Isaiah. But hold on. Let me see. Yeah. Mm. Hold on. Let me. NKJV. Yes. It's the NKJV. Yeah. Then you shall see and become radiant, and your heart shall swell with joy, because the abundance of the sea shall be turned to you, and the wealth of the Gentiles shall come to you. So, let me explain this. The analogy he gave is very accurate. You see, you can be rich and not be wealthy, but you cannot be wealthy and not be rich. Do you understand? Wealth is when the riches become wealth is when somebody becomes it and not have it. I don't know if you understand my point. So a wealthy person, even if he doesn't have money in his bank account, you wouldn't know, because one way or the other, money will find him. But when a rich person is running out of cash, he become very uneasy. We'll talk about most of these things later. Like I said, everything I'm just touching on different topics that we're going to touch in the course of our conversation, right? So let me go back because I think I jumped a bit. So Jesus died for all these seven things, right? And ideally, we should have all these seven things once we become Christians. Do we agree? But it just doesn't seem like sometimes when you look at your bank account, it's not looking like you're rich yet. Hmm?
I don't look alike.
Yeah.
I don't look alike.
Yeah, you don't look alike. And the whole point of everything I'm going to be teaching in this course is to make sure that your bank account look like that. And when I say bank account, it doesn't mean that you're going to keep a lot of money in the bank. Because when we talk about faith-based entrepreneurship, it's not about you keeping money. It's about building wealth. Like I said, there are two different things. A wealthy person never lacks money, but doesn't mean he always has plenty of money in the bank. In fact, most wealthy people do not keep money in the bank. I have a mentor of mine who is a billionaire in dollars. When I'm in the US, I live in his hotel. It's a private hotel, and the only one who lives in the hotel most times when I'm there. And it's a 5-star hotel. And it's not like a small hotel, it's a massive hotel. It's 150 acres of land. Do you understand? This estate, I don't even think this estate will be up to like 30 or 40 acres. It's probably like maybe 10, 15, 20 acres. This whole estate. So that hotel sits on 150 acres of land that he owns. And I'm the only person who's no, but it's not for the public. You can't come there and come and rent a room. Do you understand? Now, this man does not keep plenty money in the bank, but he is wealthy. Do you understand what I mean? When you enter this encounter of wealth, it becomes something you carry, not something you keep in the bank. And that is where every one of us should strive to get to. Now, when they wrote this original text that we read, if you read some other translations, they'll put this as wealth and not riches. And this is the reason. At the time when that scripture was written, they could only quantify riches in terms of gold. Do you understand? They did not quantify it in terms of every other thing that surrounds it. At that time, it wasn't about net worth. Now, in our world today, they quantify wealth by net worth, and riches by the amount of money you have in the bank. So you become wealthy when they start looking at you from the net worth perspective and not from your bank account perspective. Do you see the difference now? If you see the Forbes list, for example, today, they don't look at how much they have in their bank accounts, but they look at what? Their net worth. And I'll show you guys what that net worth really means. later as we go as well. So let's come back. If we really want to understand this whole faith-based entrepreneurship, we need to look at Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and the way they grew. And I think Ruth mentioned that Abraham was so wealthy that he had thousands of servants that were living in his house. That he could take 300 to go and fight a battle, and that was just a portion of the army that he had. Now that's wealth. Hmm? And Abraham, the Bible lets us know that he was rich in what? He was rich in gold. He was rich in cattle. Hmm? Same thing with Isaac. Same thing with Jacob. Now there's a new guy that I've been fascinated with in the past I would say in the past 1 week, which is this Joseph of Arimathea guy. That guy was rich. The guy, we all know Joseph of Arimathea now. The guy that went to carry Jesus' body. Now, when I was reading about the guy, I was like, what? So this guy had enough money that was so fine. He had so much money that was fine while he was alive that he had already went to go and build a tomb carved in a rock. Now, if you understand what that means, at that time, the meaning of building a tomb carved in a rock in today's equivalent is when you say you don't want to build house on land, not go to the sea. And you say they should come and make an island for you on the sea. And they should build where they'll bury you there. Do you know how much that would cost? That was how wealthy the guy was. Yes.
Carving a house inside the stone.
Even today. Do you understand? Now, the most interesting part of this for me was that they described that guy as a disciple of Jesus. And the reason why he could do the things he was able to do was because he had money. So let's not deceive ourselves. You see, it's important for us to be rich, you people. I am telling you. And this is the reason why. The first reason is that if we do not desire wealth, it will be difficult for you to be a true channel of God's blessing to other people. Do you understand me? I'm not giving you the reasons why now. So this is why faith-based entrepreneurship is important. First is so that God can bring wealth and riches into your life. That's the first. Because entrepreneurship is one of the channels that God uses to bless people financially. Number two is so that it can be a channel of God's blessing to other people. Do you understand? And the third reason is so that you can help to propagate the gospel. Because see, salvation is free, but the gospel and ministry is very expensive. And there's so many people that the gospel has not reached yet. And we need financial resources and material resources for the gospel to actually reach them. You see a lot of missionary and all of that go into those things cost a lot of money. I hope you are getting me. So when you are desiring to be wealthy as an entrepreneur, because most times when people go into entrepreneurship, it's really so that we can be wealthy. Let's be honest with ourselves. Right? You must understand that if you are doing it the faith-based way, there is a principle behind it. Now, let me put this caveat out there. And I mentioned this sometime past, that the principle that works for those who are not Christians in terms of how to build wealth is different from the principle that works for those who are Christians. Do you understand? Do we agree? Yeah. So I will explain it. Now, most times, no, let me correct that statement. The principles are the same, rather, but the application of the principles are different. So I would explain what I mean. Now, there are certain basic principles that you must understand when it comes to building wealth. And typically, if you obey those principles, you'll get money. You'll be rich. That's why we have people who are rich who are not Christians. Hmm? However, the context in our kingdom and outside of our kingdom are different. And I'll use an example then before I come and explain what I just said. Now, I spend a lot of time outside of the country. I have projects I'm doing in Turkey. I have a project going on in the US. So because of that, my work requires me to travel. I have a project in the Middle East, and I have to travel from to all those places. And most times when I travel like that, I have to drive in those places. There's a fundamental driving principle that you must know. You must know how to enter a car, start the car, put the car on drive, and move the car from point A to point B. Right? But when you're driving in Nigeria, the traffic laws in Nigeria are different from the traffic laws in America. If I drive the way I drive in Nigeria and America, police will arrest me. Do we know? And American police don't hear Oga abeg or Oga take pure water. Right? Also, if I so most times when I like this is my last trip, I spent about 4 months in the US, which was about the longest I've spent, right? When I came back for like the first 1 week, I was still driving the way I was driving in the US in Nigeria. And if you drive like that in Nigeria, you sleep on the road. That's one. Two, they will bash you. Okada will bash you. Keke will break your side mirror. Right? So there's a fundamental principle of driving that you must understand. But when you now get into those different terrains, there are different applications of those principles. The same way with building wealth and entrepreneurship. In our own kingdom, we go by instruction. In that kingdom, they go by idea and intuition. Do you understand? They'll just tell you, I have this idea, and they try that and it doesn't work. And they move to the next one and they try maybe two or three and the fourth one works. In our own kingdom, we go by this is what you should do. And every time God tells you this is what you should do, it works. So it's not trial and error. Do you see the difference? In our own kingdom, you are not just motivated about the money. You're also concerned about life, about impact. So in our kingdom, there are certain businesses you can't do. Do we know?
Yes.
However, in that kingdom, they can do almost anything as long as it gives them money. So you see that it's the same principle, but when you now start to apply it, the application then varies. So the principles I'll be teaching you in the course of this program is the principle that works in our own kingdom. That's why I've called it faith-based entrepreneurship. So you might not be able to teach some of the things I'll teach you to your friends that are not Christians, for example, because it won't make sense. I hope you understand me. But what I'll teach you is something that has worked for me and has worked for many other people that I know who are Christians. I'm not a billionaire yet. I think I'm almost there, but I'm not there yet. But there are people who I know who are Christians who are billionaires. And it's the same principle that I learned from them that I started applying and has helped me to be where I am. I hope you understand. So I'm just going to be stating that. So let's jump into, now we're jumping into it now. So there are 4 key principles for you to build any sustainable and successful business in this world. Now we'll start from this, right? Remember what I said when I said that there's a fundamental driving principle. You must be able to enter the car, start the car, put it on drive, move from point A to point B. And there are now principles that applies in the kingdom of God and outside of the kingdom of God, right? Now, the first thing I'll teach you is the fundamental principle that if you apply, whether you're a Christian or not, you will make money. You will grow your business. Do you understand? Before we then go ahead and talk about how do we now do this in the kingdom. I hope you understand me. Do we agree with that approach? All right. So if you go by this first one that I teach you, it's okay. You'll still make money. You probably will still be very rich. But if you want to apply it within the context of the kingdom, you then have to go one step ahead. And I'll explain why that is important before I go into the principles. Now, for them in the principle, they work by the principle of hard work and toiling. You know what toiling means? Now, you can work hard and not necessarily toil. But most times, people that toil have to add hard work to it. Now, this does not mean, but in our own kingdom, we work by grace. Do you understand? Grace does not mean you don't work. It just means that you put in a little effort and then your effort is amplified. I always tell these people this. People don't believe me. I actually feel like I'm a lazy person. So because of that, and one thing that people don't understand is lazy people actually are the most innovative people because they find very simple way of doing very hard things. Like you. So when you say what's up, bro, right? Most of the innovations that we have in this world are actually made by lazy people because they simply just want to find the easiest way. And the funny thing is, Steve Jobs always says this to his team. He will tell them that, see, guys, you need to start be thinking like a lazy person. That's how you can be innovative. Because if you can think like a lazy person, something that would typically take you to carry this, you have to think, wait, is there an easier or faster way to do this? That's where innovation starts from. So, but anyway, that's not the topic right now. So, in their own kingdom, like I said, there's a lot of hard work, toiling, and a lot of scheming that has to go into some of the things they do. In our own kingdom, we function by grace. And grace does not mean that you don't work. It just means that grace is an enablement to make your work easier, such that the little effort you apply is amplified. Like the progress I've seen in my life in the past 5 to 7 years, it's not commensurate to the amount of effort I put in. I can be very honest with you. You guys don't have my profile. Maybe I'll share. If you read my profile, you understand what I'm saying, right? In the past, I just realized recently that in the past, say 3 4 years, all my income have been in foreign currency, euro, pounds, and dollars, not in naira. Do you understand? It wasn't something I planned. I realized that I've been to probably I've been to, no, I've not been to all the continents. I've been to about 4 continents out of the seven. We have 7 continents. I've been nine, seven. I've been to 4 continents. Yeah. Okay. Right. In fact, in 2021, I had to do 4 continents and 3 cities in like 2 months. Do you understand? That is not because I'm the smartest person in the world. In fact, most of you sitting are probably smarter than I am. Do you guys understand me? So, but when grace and favor starts to follow you, there are certain things that will come easy for you that people will not be, even you won't be able to explain it. During the pandemic, I needed to travel to the US, for example. The embassy was locked, so people were not, there was no date. They said the earliest date, this was 2020. They said there was no date till 2022 at that time for me to get interview date, and I needed to go to the US. So I wrote a letter to I can't remember what even happened. The next thing, the people in the US wrote a letter to the ambassador in Nigeria that, see that guy, I don't care what people are going to do, we need him to come to the US. You guys better give him a visa. Next thing, I got an email that I should come on one Wednesday like that. And I went there, I was the only person. They opened the embassy for me. They sent 2 staff, one white American and one African American, to come and attend to me. They gave me one VIP note like that. So as I got there, the security was like, please, can I know you? Who are you? You know that is not me, right? Now, I know another person. Okay, let me not go into that. There's another time that I needed to do a training in a country in Europe, Lithuania, and I needed a Schengen visa. Schengen visa typically they said it would take about 3 months, the average processing, because the way Schengen works is apparently no, it take about 3 months because I was doing it outside of Nigeria. At that time, I was in Istanbul. I was in US. I was going to Istanbul, so I was already in US for like a month. I was going to be in Istanbul for like 2 weeks. My plan was from Istanbul to come back to Nigeria. Then the people from Lithuania were like, please, we need you to come to Lithuania. I'm like, okay, I'll be in Istanbul. How do they said if I'm doing it from Istanbul, it will take about 3 months. I'm like, then that means it can't work. And the training has to happen in like 15 days. So if it doesn't happen in 15 days, they will have to cancel that training for that year. And the funding budget for that part of the program, they will have to return it. And they don't want to return, because if they return the money, the next year they will deduct that from the money they will give them. So those guys were like, we need you to come for this training. Because at first they already said that there's no need, there's no later. I'm like, okay. That but the challenge is we don't know how we're going to get you visa. We're still trying to figure it out. I just felt in my spirit that they should apply. So I told them that apply. That I've never been denied a visa before, that this won't be the first time. Because God told me to apply. That's the only reason. Now, if you are not in the kingdom, God cannot tell you to apply. So I said they should apply, so they applied. And we had about 10 days to get the visa. Something that normally would take 3 months. Guess what happened? They were scared. But me, I wasn't. Because I knew that was God that said I should apply. So what happened was they sent in my application. I went, did all the capturing, everything. The next thing, after the capturing, they just called me one day that my visa was ready. It was like 9 days. After like 9 days or so, that my visa was ready. People were shocked. So I got the visa. Then when I got to the border of the country to enter at the airport, the immigration officer were looking at my visa. They will look at me. They will look at my visa. They will look at me. The first one did it. Went and called the second one. Looked at it. Look at me. Look at me. Yes, please sir, where did you get this visa? I'm like, it's not your country visa. Why are you asking me? Did they use to steal visa? Then he now went to call their superior. The superior now looked at it, went inside, checked, now said the visa is genuine. Like, they now come that because this visa is not a regular visa. Apparently, I was trying to get a Schengen visa. Because the price of the Schengen visa was going to be much, the person that was supposed to approve my visa wrote to the office of the prime minister of that country. She made that decision by herself. She doesn't know me. She has never seen me before. The person probably never know me. We don't even know who the person is. Till today, nobody knows who the person is. All we were told is that that visa that I had is a visa to that country particularly. And that country, you can't get their visa except the prime minister himself stamps it. So it's like the president of the country is the only person that can approve your visa. That is just because the way Schengen works is Schengen countries have many. So your visa has to go for approval in all the countries. Because once you have that Schengen visa, you can enter all the Schengen countries. So all the countries have to approve you before they now give you that visa. So because of that, most of the countries don't just give their visas, individual visas like that. I don't know if you understand. Because if not, they can betray the Schengen agreement or charter or whatever. So the prime minister of that country had to be the one to approve that visa. I didn't ask for it. It was later, after we had finished the program, said that we found out all these things I'm telling you. Do you understand? Now, by the time I went for that training, in that room, they were all white people, elderly people. At first, when I entered, they were all just looking at me like this. I was this young black boy. And racism is high there. It was until I started talking, I was like, oh, okay, this guy actually knows what he's saying. Then they now started listening to me. Now, that training alone got me into companies in Europe that I could never have thought of getting into. Do you see how it differs now from when you are not in the kingdom to when you are in the kingdom? It was probably an angel that went to do that thing because I don't know. Till today, we don't know who that person that noted my this thing to the prime minister is. We don't know. Because the people that were even organizing the program did not write the prime minister. Do you understand? So, now, let's now come back. So that is the difference between the principle outside of our kingdom and in our kingdom. It might be the same principle, but the way we now apply it differs. For example, if you are in the kingdom, for example, there are certain kind of businesses you can't do. Having an hotel, no. Why can't you have an hotel? You might not be able to have a clubhouse. You might not be able to have a strip club, for example. Right? You might not be able to maybe sell alcohol or a tattoo shop. There's certain kind of businesses that you can't do here for certain reasons. We'll get into that later. So today, we are in our next few minutes, I will run you guys through the basic principles of business. The fundamental principles, there are 4 of them. The first one is you must identify a problem. If I ask most people in this room now, what problem is your business solving? Ruth, let me start with you. What problem is your business solving?
So we're able to make customized things.
I didn't say what you make. What problem is your business solving?
Okay, so the problem of wanting to buy accessories and having probably your name on it, and if you go to the market, you can't just find
You
that.
can't find customized accessories. All right,
Except maybe it's just the letters,
the
but
letters.
your own name or maybe a special name.
Okay, thank you. Who else wants to give that a shot?
Okay, so I'm into hair business. I
Mm-hmm.
know wigs and all. So I find that lately, so many women do not enjoy sitting down and having to braid their hair or make their hair. So the easiest route for them is just to put on wigs and then off the go.
So the wig, you are solving the wig problem.
Yeah, I feel like hair problem. Yes, it's
Okay.
so easy to just do that.
Okay, who else? I think I. What problem are you solving? People are very. There are a lot of ugly people around, are you? That's a big problem to solve. Please, please, sir.
Okay, so now the business I'm doing basically what I'm solving is I sell purely.
Don't tell me what you sell. What problem are you solving?
Okay, I'm solving a problem of bringing originality. Like there's too much of fake of what I'm selling in the market. What I need is trust, like need the original one. Then
Original. What is the product?
it's funny.
Honey.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are providing original honey.
Right.
Okay.
One out of three.
Okay, I noticed so many people don't like going to the market to get things because of the whole saga
Mm-hmm.
and also I tell people to get what they want
To
from
shop.
the market. And so I'm like the bridge between them and the market.
Okay, perfect. All right. So, okay, I'll take this and then we need to continue because I want to wrap this up before 4:30.
I contribute to environmental sanitation
Environmental sanitation
by
problem. Okay.
providing.
So now you all have mentioned most of the things you've mentioned. Some of you mentioned solution instead of problem, but it's fine. But here is the thing: every time you solve a problem, money will come to you. So the best place you want to be in business is to be solving a problem, right? Once you are solving a problem, value goes towards problem solvers. There is something that we must understand, that there is value everywhere. When I say value now, let's use money as an example of value. There's money everywhere, but money is always going towards solutions. Anyone who is solving your problem, you are willing to pay them for that solution, right? The reason why you bought your phone is because that phone is a solution to a problem that you identified. So you're willing to pay for it. So that's the first thing. You must identify a problem. Hmm? And you must be able to define that problem accurately. The problem most times, and I'll go around the room now. The problem most times with most people is that they think they are solving a problem. They are not really solving it, they are just solving a symptom of a problem. I'll give an example. So there was one of our friends who came from Harvard. He went for one community like that. And while he was in that community, he realized that the children would go very early in the morning to go and fetch water, right? They'll go to the river. It was 1 hour to walk to the river, 1 hour back. That's about 2 hours. And he was like, and he's from Harvard. So it's like, why are these people still doing this? Like, okay, you know what? Let's build well for them. So you build well, right? And I think they also built a borehole after they had done the well. You know, they said, okay, we can even do borehole. So it's not even that expensive. So they did borehole. Now it came back 6 months after, and nobody ever used the well. And the borehole was just there, everything had rusted. So he was now wondering, what happened? He still saw the children carrying bucket on their head to go to the river, back and forth, 1 hour to go, 1 hour to come, before they go to school in the morning. So he now went and asked the children, why? You see, they're like, mommy said I should go to the river. Then my mommy said I should always go to the river. All of them said, my mommy said, my daddy said, my mommy said. Now I went to ask the mother, come, you want to kill these children? Eh? We put whatever you put still said they should not. That's your guy come here, let me tell you something. You see? You want to scatter our marriage, Abby? So let me explain what happened. So in that community, all of them most of the families there live in one room apartment. You know what one room apartment is? Somebody has already picked it. Immediately I said that he got the message. He got the memo. He got the memo. If you don't get it, forget about it. If you don't get it, forget about it. You don't get it. Oh my God. So almost most of the families there, some of them 5 children, 6 children, live in one room apartment. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not really using it. So you see that 2 hours to and fro that the children go. That's the only time mommy and daddy have to do mommy and daddy business. So you now say that they should not go anymore. You know, to go and fetch for 4 or 5 minutes. 5 minutes is not enough now. What do you mean? Do you understand? So they now realize that the problem wasn't actually water. The problem was housing and accommodation. So what they now did was I think UN now supported them. They now built affordable housing in those communities. You know what they realized? Immediately they built the houses with multiple rooms. The people in the village themselves know how to dig well. So you didn't have to waste money on well in the first place. All the houses started having well. Can you imagine? All the houses. Yeah. So most times we get too excited about the product we are selling that we are not focused on solving the people's problem. And human beings are naturally gravitated to people that solve their problem. Anybody that solves your problem, anybody that gives you problem, you do what? So if you really want to be wealthy, solve problems. The real entrepreneur is someone who is always seeking or looking for problems to solve. Now that's the first principle. The second principle is okay. So next week we'll go into more details on how to identify the problem. There's something I'll teach you guys. Maybe let me just do a short analysis of it now. There's something called why analysis. Some people call it 5 why analysis because they believe that by the time you do it 5 times, you should have identified the problem. So 5 why analysis is, let's take that village for example. They say why do the village not have, why do the children have to go to the river every morning? That's the first why, Abi. What's the reason? Their parents said they should go. Eh? Because they don't have water. Hmm? Why? Why do the children go every morning?
Because their parents instructed them to.
Parents instructed to go. Okay. Why did the parents instructed them to go? Eh? Why do they need privacy? Because they only have one. They don't have space. Shortage of space for housing, right? Why? Probably because they can't afford. Abi? They can't afford. So by the time you do this, you realize that the main problem is that they cannot afford housing. That's why those children are going to the river. Do you understand? So if you solve affordable housing for them, you would solve the problem of the children going to the river. Because the problem we really wanted to solve wasn't really water. It was concerned about the children having to go back and forth. They could have been going to get firewood. Do you understand? So it is believed that if you ask why on a particular problem 5 times, you get to the root cause. What you really want to, because they also call this thing root cause analysis. What you really want to find out is what is the root cause of this problem. And I'll use a practical example. So a few years ago, I had a friend who used to work in National Hospital. So there's this woman that used to come there. The woman would come today, her back is paining her, they'll give her painkiller, she's stooling, they'll give her this one, they'll give her this one. Only for one time. I went to visit my friend in the hospital and they said this woman had died. Because we all now knew the woman because she was always coming there. He said, what happened? The woman had HIV. But they were treating the symptoms. Do you understand? So most times we're actually treating the symptoms of the problem we should be solving. And for you to be able to find the problem, you must seek to go to the root cause of that problem. Right? So we'll talk more about that. We'll talk more about identifying problems later. There's also another principle that you can use to actually identify a problem to solve your business, and that's called design thinking. We can't go into that today. We'll have a design thinking session in the course of our of our classes. Design thinking will change the way you think generally about business, about life, about everything, because it helps you to think deeper about things that most people just see on the surface. So, for example, you think people have issues with getting customized stuff, you'll be shocked that that might not even be the real problem. So, when we do design thinking will help you get to what the real problem is, how you should solve it, and the people you should solve it for. So some of the things design thinking will do is, for example, in this case of my friend that I told you about, design thinking will tell you to look at the people whose problem you are trying to solve and get to understand them better. Let me explain why that is important. One thing in business is that the customer is the king, right? Do we agree? And whoever understands the customer the most will serve the customer the best. Do we agree with me? Design thinking seeks to help you to understand your customer the most. So one of the things you do in design, you create what we call personas. Some people call them archetypes. So for example, we can say, who is your average customer, for example? You can say your average customer is Amaka. Amaka disappointing. Yearly confusion. So this is Amaka, for example. She's wearing wig. Wait now, she's wearing wig now. What's no, she's good. She's walking like this. Can't say I want and she's doing like this. She's wearing wig. Yeah. This bone straight, it has to be long. Then she has red lipstick, huh? Blue eyeshadow, blue eyeshadow. Hmm. So say this is Amaka, for example, right? Now you then begin to look at Amaka. Where does Amaka work? How old is she? How much does she earn? Hmm? Because if Amaka works in the bank and she goes to work Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., your business cannot require her to come to your shop by 2 p.m. on Thursday. Do you understand? If Amaka only earns 50,000 naira per month, you cannot sell bone straight of 150,000 naira to her. I don't know if you understand. So, the more you understand your customers and you know them, the more and the better you are able to serve them. That's what design thinking will help you to do. So we'll go into details of that and you use your businesses as case studies. We'll take personas and then we'll now say, this is, in some cases, you might have there's something called customer segments. You might have different customer segments. You can have a marker who is a working class person. You can, in your business, you can also have some students who are also part of your customer segment. For students, for example, the way you design your product for them will be different. Like I'll use Apple as an example. Now, when I buy my Apple products, typically it's only in Nigeria we pay for everything. In US, for example, like oh, okay, so there was a phone my daughter was using. I bought that phone in the US. I didn't pay for the phone. The network provider will give you, then they'll bill you as part of your contract every month. So in US, for example, we don't buy airtime the way we buy airtime here. You're on contract, monthly contract. So my current US monthly contract now, I think I pay $60 per month. Oh, that reminds me, I need to change it. So I pay about $60 per month. So if I wanted to get a new iPhone, for example, they'll upgrade that to about $150 per month. The phone will probably cost $1,000, but my contract will be $150. So I'm not paying for the phone outright. They will spread it over a period of time, right? So now, but if you're a student, for example, Apple now created a student plan. which is much cheaper. I think you don't even have to pay anything yourself or something. I don't know how it works, but I'm not on that plan. But they have a plan for students for you to be able to acquire tabs, acquire laptops, and things as a student. You just need to show them your student ID card. Do you understand? Now, those are different customer segments that you can design different product offerings for. And I'll show you guys how to do that. So, that we're still talking about problem. And now, the second principle is that you must find the best solution to the problem you've identified. Principle one is you must identify a problem to solve, Abi. Principle two is you must find the best and scalable solution to the problem you have identified. It must be the best solution, and it must be a scalable solution. Now, there are certain solutions that are not just scalable. There are some that are difficult to scale, but there are some that are very easy to scale. Practically, most tech-based businesses are easy to scale. Like if you're building an e-commerce website, it's easy for you to go from 10 customers to 500,000 customers. It's easier. But if you wanted to do a business where you are selling cars, for example, that might be a bit difficult to scale because for you to sell more cars, you have to buy more cars. I don't know if you understand. And have more customers that want to buy cars. So it doesn't mean it's not scalable, just that some businesses are more easily scalable than others. So, but the most important thing in this point number two is finding the best solution and possibly a solution that you can easily scale. That is, you can easily get that solution to more number of people. Do you understand? Now, let's go to principle number three. Is that after you've identified the problem, you found this solution. The third thing is you must figure out how to make profit from that solution. If you are not making profit, you are doing charity. Hmm? Now, like I said, we're going to go into details of this later as we go on. I'm just using today as an introductory class. You must now be able to make profit from that solution. And your profit must be clear. There are a lot of us that do business that we're not even sure whether we're making profit or not. That is not entrepreneurship. That's hustling. A lot of people call themselves entrepreneurs, actually hustlers. Hmm? Now, there are certain things that I'll teach you guys about how to put structure in your business, how to grow your business to the point where you can run without you, how to separate yourself from your business. You know, my business now is at a point where it runs without me about 80%. I wouldn't say 100%. That's why I can travel out of the country for months and my business is still running, and then we're making money. Do you understand? So, so you must be able to earn profit from that solution. Now, people would find a problem, create a solution, but that solution cannot earn them a profit. That is not a business. So, whatever your solution is, as you are coming up with the solution, it must be coming with how do I make money from this solution? Do you get it? That is the third principle. Now, the fourth principle is that you must figure out how to scale that solution and also scale your profit. Who knows what scale means? Exactly. But the word we use is in the business world is scale. You must be able to do it at scale. So you then need to figure out how to do that thing at scale. Do you understand? Scale. Scale the business, your solution, and scale your profit. So you are scaling two things. You are scaling your profit and you are scaling you are scaling your solution first rather, then scaling your profit. Do you understand? Now, if you obey these four principles, you'll be rich. Your business will grow and your business will make money. But you might not, okay, let's not go into that today. But these are the basic principles, the fundamental principle of building and running a business. The first is find a problem. Second is solve that problem. Third is make profit from it. And the fourth is to scale it. Hmm? In our next classes, we'll then go into more details of all of these things. And I'll be more practical. In my next class, in next class I'll have slides, we'll have activities. You are gonna get up, we'll have things. I hope we can put things. Yeah, we'll probably be able to put things on the wall as long as we don't mess up the wall. You can put what's the name of flip charts on the wall, right? So put flip chart on the wall, you do exercises, and I'm sure it will be fun. I think that the things I'll be teaching in the next 4 weeks probably things that took me about almost 6 years to learn, right? And I'm still learning. I told you I have a mentor who is a billionaire, and I'm in the process of starting a new business in the US, and I was about to start a particular kind of business that I thought, okay, the business I was about to start would probably make me about, in a bad month, about $40,000 a month, right? And he called me and said, no, you can't start that business. I'm like, why? And I also teach you something. Do you know that funding is never a problem if you are starting a business? Don't worry. So I'll teach you guys. That's one of the things I'll teach you guys. You notice it's not part of the principles because it's not a point. If you obey all of this, money will not be a problem. One of my mentors told me something that Dangote told him, because my mentor is very close to Dangote. He said, if you don't build your business in a way that people have to patronize whether they like you or not, then you don't have a business. If you are building a business such that you have to go and be begging people, come and buy, because that's why, the reason why we most times have to go and beg people, come and patronize me now, is because you are not solving their problem. If you are solving their problem, they will be the ones to come and be begging you that, please, we need your product. Because people will naturally go and find solution to their problems. Every time you have a problem, don't you go and find solution to it? So the reason why you are at the point where you are having to get people. So in fact, let me tell you something. I worked as a venture. Who knows what venture capital is? Have you heard have you seen the news when they say this tech company just raised $5 million? This tech company just raised Series A $3 million. Have you seen those news before? How many of you have not seen those news before? Be honest, you've not. Okay. So there are certain companies in Nigeria right now that will just tell you that they just raised $5 million in investment. Now that's money that investor just gives them to do business, right? And they collect small equity from their business. So I used to work as a venture capitalist. And who knows PiggyVest? Who knows Paystack? You know Paystack? Okay, good. So I can use that to explain. So I work with a firm, right? A venture capital firm called Ventures Platform. I was chief of staff at the firm, then I became the president of the company that owned the firm. Now, that organization invested in Paystack when they just had idea. They had not even done anything. It was just an idea. It was probably a few $1,000s. Now, as at 2021, before I left the organization, we sold Paystack for $250 million to Stripe. Calculate that in Naira, please. Someone should try and calculate it. Right? $250 million.
$1 million.
Yes. We sold it $250 million to Stripe. Stripe is a US company. Yes. Owned by Jack Dorsey and somebody else. You know Jack Dorsey, the owner of Twitter? He's founder of Twitter, right? $250 million. So now we've also invested in PiggyVest when it was just an idea. You know PiggyVest now. Who knows Abeg app?
Yes, I know.
The one that funded Big Brother. Now, Abeg app is a subsidiary of PiggyVest. Abeg, single-handedly funded Big Brother that year with about 2 billion naira. Abeg is a subsidiary of Piggyvest. Abeg, Piggyvest just spun off Abeg as a new company, right? And Abeg, their new company, funded Big Brother with 2 billion naira in cash. That was the first year. They did another one the next year. Do you guys understand? So, the principles I'm teaching you are the same principles that we used to grow those businesses. And the same principles that I'm now applying now in my own business. And trust me, it's working. Now, one of the principles we had then in every venture capital firm has something called the investment thesis. One of our investment thesis, we don't invest in businesses that have a marketing budget. Do you hear what I just said? If you can understand this, it will help you in business a lot. We do not invest in any business that has a marketing budget. Do you know what that means? Okay. What that means is if you come to us with a business plan that we should invest in your business and you say you are going to spend X amount of money on marketing, we will not invest. Because we believe that the product you have to go and beg people to come and use it. The product is not pulling them by itself. There's something I'll teach you guys in the course of this, which is called the pull and the push force of the market. Now, there's something called the pull force of the market, where the market is the one pulling your product. And they are begging you, please, we need your product, please, we need your product. There's the push force where you are the one pushing your product into the market. Please come and buy, please come and buy. We want to get to the point where the market is one saying, we need your product, we need you, we need this, we need that. Did you get it? Now, if a company comes to us and they tell, like Piggyvest, for example, Piggyvest just started advertising recently, I think this year, because they had so much money in the bank. You know, when you advertise, there are some things you can net off your taxes and things like that. That's the only reason why they advertise. Not because they need to advertise. They didn't advertise for many years. And they worth hundreds of billions of naira.
I would love to ask a question, but since you scale it,
Yeah, no worry. These are the things that I'll teach you guys, right? I'll teach you all of these principles. And the reason why I can teach them is because most of these principles are principles that I learned in the past like 4 or 5 years. Because I was running my business, I shut down my business. I went to learn in this organization that I'm talking about. I now just started my business again last year. And between then and now, we have grown. I have my team now, I think we're about 11 now, right? And we closed a project with the international trade. We just closed another deal recently. And I'll teach you guys how to do that. You just need to be solving problems. As long as you are solving problems, money will always come to you. I personally started trying these principles myself as a person before I even started to use it to build a business. And when I tried it as a business, it works. There are some things that maybe I'll teach you guys about myself, or you guys will find out later. Those who are close to me would know, but don't worry. All right. So, what was I saying? How did we get to this place? I told you.
thesis, pull and push force of the market.
All right. So, if you can get to the point where the market is the one calling for your product, and you know that sometimes the reason why the market is not pulling you sometimes might not be that you have the wrong product. You might just be selling to the wrong people. Do you know? So those are some of the things that we'll look at. That's when we get to customer segment, we'll know who your customers should be. And you can go and find them, right? So I'll give a very practical example. So there's a guy who wanted to sell a yacht. Yacht. You know what you call a yacht? Those big boats that rich people have. Yeah. And he put it online, Facebook Marketplace. You will laugh too. Who will buy it on Facebook Marketplace? Anybody that uses Facebook does not have money to buy it. So he was not telling his friend that there's There's this yard that somebody told me that they want to sell. Yeah, like, are you okay? You know, said, go to that golf club. For you to be in that golf club, I think this is in the US now. So I think the annual registration for the golf club, I think it's about $2 million per year that you pay just for registration. So somebody that is paying $2 million just to register for a golf club probably has plenty of millions of dollars, right? And yet I think they were selling about $45 million or so. They said just go and put your adverts in that golf club. So the guy just printed a banner, like a roll of banner, and put it in front of the golf club and got permission from them, put it there. In 2 days, he got like 5 different calls. This thing has been on Facebook Marketplace since. So do you see the difference? So those are some of the things that we'll be looking at. Are you selling to the right audience? Should you change the people you're selling to? Do you understand? There's something we call, that's when we get to pivoting. When we get there, I'll teach you guys that pivoting is you need to move from this line of business and move to a different line of business entirely. Right? So it's broad, but we'll try to tackle everything one after the other. Okay? Then finally, I am a I'm an evangelist of international business. In fact, I'm an international business expert. What I paid for from by most organizations I consult for today is how to help scale their businesses to multiple countries. And I currently do business in I currently do business in about 4 countries. I'm about to add a fifth one now, right? So one of the last thing, and the last thing we'll touch is how do you ensure that you are running or you are building an international brand, an international business. Are you with me? That's where we will land in all of this. We'll not land there. Because that's what I help organizations do now. That's what I've been doing actively for the past 2-3 years. And I think it's going to be fun. And most importantly, don't forget, every time I'm teaching you guys this, I'll be putting in the principles that work in this kingdom. I'll teach you the general principle, and I'll then come deeper to teach you how to apply this principle in this kingdom. Do we understand? All right. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Okay.
Okay. It's like you've been waiting since. All right.
Okay, I've listened to you, and one of the questions I was asked, like when you say money,
Money is not a problem. Okay, money is not a problem. I can answer that question. I know where you're going to.
Okay.
Okay, finish, but finish.
Yeah. What I was going to say, how do one position himself?
So like I said, I knew where you were going to. And every time I say that, and people don't, they are correct. Because see, once there are certain things that I didn't know 7 years ago that I know now. If I knew them 7 years ago, the way I would have handled my business then would be different. So I wouldn't blame anybody to also think the way I was thinking then, because I was also thinking like that before. Do you understand? We all grow and we all learn. As we learn, some things will begin to open to you. I can say that now because I've gotten to a point where there's no amount of money that I need for any business I can't get. In fact, I wanted to start a business in Turkey, Istanbul, last year. And I had like 4 or 5 different people that were begging me that please, they want to invest, they want to invest. I collected money from one of them last year. The business has not started. Because I haven't had the time to go to Istanbul. They had an earthquake, and the war in Ukraine was really the main issue we had for us to start. That was how we didn't start. Then when the war was going and the earthquake happened, then my father-in-law called me and said I should not go to Turkey. So because of the earthquake. So now that the whole thing is stable now, I'll go there and we'll start the business. But what I'm saying is the person that gave me the money and said, you know what, anytime you start, just put my money there. Do you understand? And I'm not talking naira. This is thousands of dollars I'm talking about. Tens of thousands of dollars. Do you guys understand me? Now, bring my bag. Let me show them something. Let me pass my bag. I wanted us to finish this before 4:30. Okay. Thank you. Please, let me put your hands together for my daughter. She's acting as my PA today. So there is, what's this? All right, just wait. I'm coming. Um, let me see. What's this?
Euro.
Okay. No, no. I want to show you guys some things now. What's this?
Dollar. Dollar.
What's this?
Pound.
This
Um, Turkish lira.
Turkish lira, abi?
Yeah, yeah. Turkish
Okay.
lira.
So let me explain something to you. How much is this?
That's $20.
Okay. Now I'll show you guys something else now. So if I wanted to dash, if I say, who wants this $100, for example? Everybody wants it, Abi. It's something, Abi. Who wants this $100? What's the difference? Even if I squeeze this, it's still $100, Abi. And this is still $100. All right. So let me explain. So bring those other ones. I'm collecting it back. It's my money. I think it's your money. It's my money. This one is my money. All right. So let's look at it this way. No worry, maybe I'll do a giveaway in one of these classes. I don't know yet. But let's see. I probably will. But if I carry this, this is Turkish lira. If I carry this money to Turkey and I say I want to buy something, would they sell for me?
Yeah.
If I bring this money to Nigeria and I say I want to buy something, would they attack me? We'll say market. Thank you. This is euro. If I spend this money, if I carry it to Lithuania, for example, would they attend to me?
Yes. Yes.
If I carry it to US, would they attend to me?
No.
If I carry it to UK, would they attend to me?
Yes. No. No.
They probably will, but it depends on where. Some places might not, because the euro, they still reckon with it a bit. But if I carry this one to UK, will they attend to me?
No. No. No.
This is the Turkish one.
No. No.
No. Okay. Now this is pounds. If I carry this to US, will they attend to me?
No. Obviously, yes. Yes.
They will, Abi.
Yes.
If I bring it to Nigeria, will they attend to me?
Yes.
Who say market?
No. Personal relationship.
All right. So now look at this. If I carry this to US, will they attend to me?
Yes.
If I take it to Europe, will they attend to me?
Yes. Yes.
If I take it to Wuse market, will they attend to me?
No. 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 Depends on how you compute.
But if I take it to zone,
Yeah, exactly.
they will attend to me.
Or we say we add more interest.
All right.
Add interest.
So let me explain what I just showed you guys now. First of all, most times we don't communicate our value well enough. That's one. You see, I showed you guys these two notes. This is not actually $100. This is a prop. This is what, when you see movie and all those music videos and they're doing money like this. This is what they use. It's a movie prop. You can see it has Chinese thing written on it. Yeah, it's a movie prop. So that's what we use to shoot movies in the US. This is real $100. But you see, when you saw this, you perceived it as $100. This is what I call perceived value. It is not real value. You perceived it. And if I had given you this money, you probably would have gotten excited. You give testimony in church that someone dashed $100. But it's not real. But this you also perceived as dollar, but it actually has real value. So there's perceived value and there's real value. You see, the problem most times with most people is that we do not sell we are not able to get people to perceive the value in your business. So because of that, they cannot invest their money into it. That's one. Two is that you don't communicate what the problem you are solving effectively and your solutions effectively. Three is that you are not investor ready. There's something called investor readiness, which I'll teach you guys. Investor readiness is when you get to the point where you're investor ready, money will not be a problem. Most of the times when you say money is a problem, it's because you have not gotten to the point where you should be looking for money. If money is a problem, that means you are not at the point where you should be looking for money yet. Huh? I'm giving my money back. People are looking at me. I'll do giveaway. I've made up my mind. I'll do a giveaway in this class, but I don't know when. So you have to attend all the classes because one day, okay, this is no, maybe I don't know. Who knows? So anyway, so what was I saying? Please, I have to be keeping this bag well now. Pepe, you have to keep this guy very well now. Eh? Wait, though. The way you're saying you keep it. All right. So that's the first thing, perceived and real value. That's one. Two, the US dollars has universal value. I travel across the world a lot. Sometimes I have euros, sometimes I have pounds. But there is nowhere I go to where I have US dollars. I'm not able to spend it. Do you understand? So most times when I'm traveling, even if I have euro or pounds and the other ones, I always make sure I have more US dollars. Because there's nowhere I find myself. US dollars will always be spendable. So you want to also get to that point where the value you have in your business is universal. If you have a business like that, money would never be a problem. The reason why funding is a problem most times is because you are not, and I'll say it again, investor ready, or you haven't built up to a point where you have it has become a universal product. Do you get? Now, there are certain things that you can do to get yourself to the point where money will not be a problem. Most times we start looking for money prematurely. That's why money is a problem. I'll give you a very practical example. So this business I told you that somebody gave me a few thousand or tens of thousands of dollars to start, right? When I got the business idea, I was traveling from Nigeria to US. I got stuck in Istanbul for like 2 days. And that was the first time I actually entered. I've flown through Istanbul mainland, but I've not actually entered the city. So because I was stuck there, I had to go and buy clothes, and I realized that clothes there were very cheap. So while I was on the plane, I put together a presentation. And I'll show you guys that presentation in our next class. And I outlined certain things. This is the opportunity. This is the amount that I can make from this business. So let me give you an easy way to always get money. Because this is the thing you must understand. The people who have the money to invest and give you to do business are looking for people to give money to. When I was working as a venture capitalist, there was a time that we had about $15 million or so. I think, was it 15 million or 1.5 million? I can't remember now. Dollars. And we were looking for companies to give it to. We had about 6 months to give out all that money. But people will come to us to come and pitch to us, and they were not investor ready. So the problem we had was we had money we had to give out, but there was nobody to give it to. And that problem exists till today. There are a lot of people out there who have money, they are looking for who to give it to, who to invest, what to invest in. Do you know? So why are you then saying money is a problem? When there are people who are looking for you are looking for money, there are people who are looking for people to give money to. But there are certain things. The simplest way I can explain it to you is if it will take you 3 million naira to buy this water bottle, and when you sell it, you make 5 million naira. And you come and tell me, I need 3 million naira to buy this. This is how I'll sell it. This is how I'll go about it. Once I do this, I'll make 5 million. Out of that 5 million, I'll give you 4 million naira. I'll keep 1 million naira. And I'll do that in the next 3 months. Wouldn't I want to give you the money? Why would I want to give you the money? Because I'm going to make money. But you know the problem most times, like I said, you're not able to communicate that value effectively. So I'll show you how I communicate the value for that business. I created a presentation and I said, This is what I saw. I went to Istanbul. I went to this place. I went to this place. I went to this. I confirmed the prices. This is how much this product is in Istanbul. This is how much we buy this product in the US. This is the margins. Like for example, I bought a jacket. That jacket I bought it for about $6 equivalent in Istanbul. The same jacket on Amazon is $35. So in the presentation, I said if I buy this for $6 in Istanbul, I can sell it for $25 on Amazon, which means my product will sell faster. And I'm still making more money, a lot of profit. And then I'll give you a certain percentage of the profit. You guys like, let's do it. Do you understand? So, first thing, you have to be able to communicate the value. Second, you have to be communicating the value to the right people. Remember when I told you that the dollar, for example, I can carry it anywhere. But if I carry Turkish lira to say market, they'll kick me out. But in Turkey, that money has value. Do you get it? So money is not really a problem in terms of starting a business. I'm telling you, I've said it time and time again that there's no business I want to start now. That in fact, the new business I wanted to do in US that my mentor said I should not do. Somebody already gave me money for it. That money is just sitting in my US account now. I'm not thinking of what to do with it. Should I return it back to the person? Should I divert it to the new business my mentor said I should start? Do you understand? And the person just gave me a part and said by end of August, don't worry, I'll give you the rest. This person doesn't know me from anywhere. So there are other things involved. There's favor involved, which are some of the reasons why I said I'll teach you certain things that you can also apply in this kingdom. So there's favor involved in that as well. But there are certain principles, fundamental principles that you must have first before you cannot layer favor on top of it. I don't know if you understand. Any other question?
You said that you don't give money to any company that has
A marketing budget.
marketing.
That was the investment thesis then. I don't know if it has changed, but yes.
And I want to ask why. And now it's relatable and how we did not like. Because I'm just wondering.
Okay, so first of all, we believe that once you have to market the product, that means the product is not good enough to sell itself. At that time, we're looking for products that had high growth potential. And we believe that for you to have high growth potential, you have to be a product that can sell itself without you manually laboring to sell it. We believe that that's the fastest way to scale. And that was what happened with PiggyVest.
Does this include online marketing?
Yes, as long as you are spending any form of effort or money on selling the product. The only thing we allow them to do is to first get their first 100 customers. Then everything else after that should be organic. We believe that the business should grow organically because organic growth is easier and is faster as long as you get it right. And it also saves you from problem. Because if you market and you did you stop? If you market and you get a lot of people in, boom, as a flood, and you're not able to manage it, it can even crash the business. That was one of the things that affected my smartphone business. We did a product launch. An investor was supposed to invest. He didn't invest, and we had already done product. We had advertised. So we had too many requests. We couldn't fulfill the requests of the people. Do you get it? So we believe that you should build the business up to a point where it is the market that is pulling you. Now, PiggyVest was so good at that time that people were recommending it to their friends. Save your money here. It was piggy bank at the time that people were using to save. Do you remember?
Yeah.
People were just telling that. In fact, one day my pastor came on stage and announced, people should save or use this app. Because they were solving a real problem. They didn't have to advertise. People were advertising for them. When Uber came to Nigeria, the same thing. They didn't have to advertise. In fact, I had friends who would be telling you, have you heard of Uber? You should try it. Uber was not paying them. But they were solving a problem. Do you get it? So you need to build up until that point. I'll show you guys how to do it. It's actually not difficult. It's not at all. All right. Any other question? All right. Okay, let's agree on our next class. Fridays, I have a class by 4:30. 4:30 to 6:10. So, what I'm thinking, what time do we close on Fridays? So should we meet 6:30 to 8 on Fridays?
6:30 a.m.
Eh, should we do it virtually or physically? If it's going to be virtually, then it has to be later. Later. Mm. I actually want us to have two physical classes. Or on Friday, can we do it earlier? Can we do 2 p.m. on Friday?
2 p.m.
No, so let me explain. No, no, no. See, so this is the challenge. If we do that, that means we only have one physical class a week. One physical class a week might not be enough.
Like to just
Yes.
be 1 hour. So the extra weekday class is taking the hours for 3 hours. Wednesday. And because we started late,
Eh? We stretch about 10 minutes or 5 minutes on Friday. Who can't come by two? Two people. You can't come by three people. You can't come by two on Friday. Should we try Thursday? Thursday evening. Thursday in the evening.
Is there a plan for Sunday?
Sunday is going to be difficult for me because I need to rest.
So can we stretch Saturday?
Stretch Saturday.
no Saturday they'll be here from 9 to
Saturday
12.
there are several lectures.
It's almost 5 today. We've done more than
They might get tired.
Yeah.
I'm tired right now. I'm sharing my mental me.
Let me explain. Like on stretching Saturday will just be like an extra hour. But the weekday,